The new Ford Bronco Sport restarts the Bronco nameplate that ran originally from 1966 to 1996 and was Ford's first SUV. It's been about 25 years since there's been a new Ford Bronco for sale.
And it's also probably been about that long since the Cowboys have seen a Super Bowl.
Yeah, because I'm a Cowboys fan.
And I'm definitely not. All joking aside, I'm actually a Denver Bronco fan.
Anyway, this here is not a full-blooded Bronco. Those will come out later.
This is the four-door Ford Bronco Sport, the little brother of the soon-to-be released two-door Ford Bronco.
Yes, the Ford Bronco Sport is built on the Ford Escape platform, and with that being said, you might assume that this is just a square body Escape, which is a car also currently on sale by Ford. However, Ford says that the two vehicles are quite different. We shall see.
We just picked up this car and haven't driven the new Escape, but this video isn't about the Escape anyways, so let's just jump into this review of the Ford Bronco Sport.
Alright, so the 2021 Ford Bronco Sport comes with two different engine options available, okay? The first of which is what we have here, which is a 3-cylinder turbo that puts out 181 horsepower and 190 foot-pounds of torque. The second option is a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo that puts out 250 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque. Now, both of these engines are going to be mated to 8-speed automatic transmissions. That's right, an actual automatic transmission, no CVT, thank God. Now, both of these are going to have auto start-stop as well, but luckily you can turn that off. One thing to note, both of these engines are direct injected. However, only the 3-cylinder gets direct injection with port injection. I don't know why Ford did that, but there you go. When it came to the interior of the car, I gotta say the front seats were perfectly adequate as far as comfort goes. But with this being a base model, the inside is boring. It just is. I mean, you could get a base model Corolla with more color than this. I mean, this is straight up just all black. That's all it is. And while, like I said, I understand it being a base model, I just think they could have done better.
So looking around a little bit, I noticed that there is only one cup holder in each driver door, and not only that, the cup holder itself is very shallow. So my immediate first thought as a mom is the kids are probably going to put a cup in there. First time I shut the door, it's a mess waiting to happen.
When we come to the back seat of the car, it's perfectly adequate for adults. The problem is there are no cup holders back here, none whatsoever. Like normally this middle area would fold down, but in this model, it doesn't. I mean, I understand it's a base model, but there needs to be some cup holders.
Not only does this not pull down, but usually in the middle of the two front seats, there's usually, a pull out where there's cup holders or, a little charging bank or whatever, and there's not much of anything behind the center console.
But what is nice is we do actually have two charging ports back here. There's also one charging port up front, some more in the center console, and overall, how many was that?
5.
Yeah, I mean, that's a decent amount of power right there.
So one thing I did like is it's very quiet in here. For like a bigger vehicle, they're usually kind of louder, bumpier. The drive's kind of, noisy, but it's very quiet in here. It's a very, very smooth ride. The steering is real tight. There's no give in the wheel at all. Like the driving impression, I would give an 8 out of 10.
Sound quality is always a concern, especially on base model vehicles. One thing I have to give Ford credit for though is how good this stock system on a base model actually sounded. I was really impressed with how much bass there was on the system by itself, and it was a very balanced sound. It wasn't all bass, it wasn't all treble. If you set the EQs right, you got no problem listening. And what do you think, Sarah?
I thought it was pretty loud. It's pretty impressive for a base model.
Yeah, so when I did set the EQs, I set the bass, mid, treble to where they should be, and like I said, bass was really good, not overpowering, just right where it should be. The only criticisms I have, and these are really small criticisms, were the highs weren't absolutely amazing and the mids weren't maybe as punchy as they could be. But once again, for a stock system, this was actually a really good stereo. Things that we like the most and things that we dislike the most. First of all, things that I like the most was just how smooth this car actually drives. So when you're going down the highway, it's like butter. It just... Now, one thing I did notice though is on city streets, it can be a little bit bumpy, but not bumpy as like a jarring motion. Bumpy as like, kind of like jumping on a trampoline. So not the best, not the worst, but for me, perfectly adequate. Things that I don't like are the C-pillars. There's just that giant blind spot. Once again, it has blind spot monitoring, so it's not something you need to worry about too much. But yeah, those C-pillars just, meh, not a fan.
So as for things I didn't like, I would say I understand that this is a base model, but it's really base. There's no fancy nothing in here. There's no upgrades. There's no, there's no, oh, that's cool. I'm glad they added that. Oh, look at that. It's sleek looking, but nothing special. So I'm going to kind of piggyback off what John said. I really did like how smooth the drive was. As someone who drives a lifted pickup with larger tires, I don't have the smoothest rides out of all vehicles. But this one was very smooth, very easy ride. And I like that no matter which model you buy, you're getting all-wheel drive.
Yep. Alright, so the last thing we're going to talk about is who is this car best for? And I think this car is best for somebody who lives probably in the northeast or anywhere where they get a little bit of snow, but not too much because this does have four-wheel drive. And anybody who does light off-roading. Now, this is not going to be a tow rig. The max towing capacity on the upper trim models is only 2,200 pounds. So don't buy this car thinking you're going to tow with it. And other than that, that's really all I have to say. Sarah, what do you think?
I did mention this before, but I think this is a mom car. It's kind of a cool mom car. It's not like a minivan, you can take the kids to soccer in this, and you can also do some fun in the dirt.
Actually, one of the things I really like about this is the visibility out front. Like, I definitely feel like we're sitting relatively high up, even for
a stock vehicle, for sure.
Yeah, and then the window line is just way down here, so like you see everything.
And what I like is the posts are very small, so you don't have this big blind spot, on both sides. And then the safety, even if you did, like the safety features on the mirror.
The blind spot monitor.
Yeah, the blind spot monitor. If someone's even near you, whether or not your blinker is on, it will tell you they're there.
Yeah, blind spot monitoring is a very nice thing to have. Like, I'm actually surprised a lot of bigger trucks don't offer blind spot monitoring standard. Like most small cars like this have a standard. Why not put it on a bigger vehicle that actually needs it? Driving this does feel numb in a good way, because there is the off-road suspension, but also has anti-roll bars. So it's good. It should be good off-road, and it's really good on the street. Like, this rides a lot better than my Corolla, and you said it rides better than your Silverado.
Yeah, for an SUV, it's definitely very smooth. Like, it doesn't feel like a boxy, Jeep type.
Oh no, this rides so much better than any Jeep I've ever been in.
Yeah, I mean, for like a similar square SUV type body, it's very smooth. It has a very smooth the steering wheel doesn't brake and gas are smooth. It's not real jerky or anything.
Yeah, one of the things I'm really impressed with too, with it being such a square vehicle, the wind noise really isn't bad. Like, this car is, like I said, significantly quieter than my Corolla. Like, we don't have to yell at each other.
Yeah.
And we're doing, 65, 70 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Having just a regular conversation. I saw some other reviews that were saying the road noise in these was horrible. And I gotta say, where?
I don't agree with that at all. It's very quiet.
Yeah, this.
I didn't think if you had someone sitting in the back seat, you wouldn't even have to like turn around and be like, "What?" Like, speak louder, I can't hear you. Like, no, it's really quiet in here.
Yeah, when I Ubered with my Corolla, doing 70 on the freeway, it's pretty loud, and it's a 2017. So I mean, it's not a super old car. What, 5 years old now? Yeah, 5. And decent tires, but the car is just so loud inside.
I like all these little compartments too. Like there's a compartment underneath a screen for your phone, or even underneath the AC unit.
Yeah, you can actually get these optioned out with wireless chargers.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but like you said, I do really like the Bronco logo there on the steering wheel.
Yeah, the Bronco, and it was on all the rims as well.
Yeah.
It was on all the rims.
As far as interior quality goes, I mean, this isn't first edition or a Badlands. This it might be a base even, but even still.
I do think this is base because I don't believe that this is four-wheel drive, and my seat is not electric.
These are all four-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive is standard.
Really? So where is you put it in four-wheel?
It's probably actually all-wheel drive.
Oh, yes. That's one thing I didn't like, and it was one of the first things that I noticed. You look in your door, the cup holder is very, very shallow. The cup holder is very shallow, so something, without question, is going to fall out of that. Like a cup, if you put that in there, it will fall out. It's like that. But the other one next to it is pretty good. It's pretty good size, pretty deep, but the one, like, it's only that far from the top of the plastic.
You know, speaking of cup holders, actually, so I always get these, and it seems like this will only fit in the front center console cup holder. And, well, let me try.
Because the back has the adjusters as well.
No, never mind. It does fit in the back. So, what's going on here with the cup holders are there are little prongs to hold your drinks in place, but they're really stiff. I don't know if it's because this is a new vehicle, but the one in back was so stiff I didn't think my drink would fit in there, but it does now. I just had to put it in there like I meant it. But as I was saying earlier, I was trying to talk about interior quality. Everything does look very Ford. You get all the familiar Ford buttons and whatnot, lock, unlock. I gotta say, everything feels chunky, nice and chunky. The volume knob, if we were listening to something, it's got weight to it, it's got some resistance, and I'm just glad that we have dials and buttons. Like, this isn't all touch screen. Obviously there is a touch screen that we can use, but there's an actual physical volume knob. So thank God. I like the new Teslas and whatnot. It irks me so bad that there's no volume knob, no
The
tuning
new
knob.
Cadillac as well.
Yeah,
Cadillac
the Q system is
CTS,
garbage.
They have it's touchscreen, so you're trying to turn the volume down, you're panicking, trying to get it down, trying to touch it a million times. It's horrible. I hate it.
Yeah, everybody's moving away from physical knobs and buttons, and I'm not a fan. I want my knobs and buttons. I gotta say, overall, Ford, the Bronco Sport, not bad. Not bad.
I'm not mad at it.
So, with being a 3-cylinder turbo, I don't think this is something I would trust enough to buy. I think this would be an amazing lease vehicle, but 3-cylinder turbo,